Hello tubers, this is part 3 and all I'm going to do explain in this short bit is to say I've had a bit of bother with the inside of the brake drums. As you'll see in this video, I've swapped them out and tried to swap my old ones into the new hubs and the other way around, and it wouldn't work because the one brake drum was half an inch different diameter to the other one, and the brake shoes were different shape. So in the end I've had to go back and use the original ones that were burnt out and clean them up, as you'll see in the video. So it was a bit of a pain and a lot of extra work, but at least you'll know if somebody else does it next time. The one make and model is totally different to the other make and model because the diff comes in on the wrong side. Okay, so hope that's okay.
Hello tubers, just put on the handbrake shoes. Them are the new ones on there now. Done it both sides. Very easy job once you get to it. Same this side. Like I said, it's a very easy job, and it's a really pathetic setup for handbrake of a tractor that's hauling 10 ton trailers. So it is hopeless when you think about it. If somebody leaves the handbrake on, for instance, it's going to rub it down and you have to take the rear trumpet houses off to fix it. So there we are. Right, what I'm going to do now is going to put the rear trumpet housings on. Well tubes, this is the slice that goes next on the right hand side bellows in there, and I was just going to bung it on now. Just noticed though it's leaking oil here, you can see, and inside there is the brake. Is a brake system, the foot brake system, so there must be an O-ring or something that maybe have melted with the fire, so I better get it off and check it just to see what's going on. Well, here we are, we've got the assembly out here, and as you can see, good job I got it out. The cylinder here, the brake cylinder, oil comes in the top, squeezes in there, opens that out, and it's leaking. Completely covered everything in oil, all the inside, the lot. And of course that, all I want is that bit off, but I can't get it off. It looks like it's what's it called on there, heated up and shrunk on or something. So this will obviously need cleaning up. So like I said, we have to use this shaft because this shaft here is the only one that fits in the new rear end diff, so we got to use that. So we'll have to clean this up and hope that fits in there. If it doesn't, we'll have to take the guts of that and put it in here. Right then, we just split this trumpet house in half, and there's the second bit there that I need over there, look. There's the sun gear there. Now, if this shaft here, this brake assembly will come out again, this brake drum, and fit into that one. Sorry, the pin I took out fit into this one. We'll be alright. We don't have to need to change the mass cylinder and clean all that one out, but we'll have to see now. So well, there we are, we got that out after a little bit of work, and this one's a lot cleaner inside. There's a small little smidgen of oil, but nothing much, and it looks like the diameter of the shaft and everything is the same on the other one, so this is a lot drier and a lot better. So hopefully I'll have a bit of a measure up now, and that one should be able to go, sorry, that one there with the oil on, once it's cleaned up, can go back in here with a bit of luck. Right tubes, I'm having a bit of game with this. As I showed you before, I was going to put that into there with all the dry bits and no leaking. Trouble is, brake shoes are different size, and the inside diameter of that is slightly larger. So I'm having to take the brake shoes out of that one, put the brake shoes in this one. You would never think that a vehicle that's a 1255 would be so different, would you? I don't know if what the year is different, but it's a lot different. And it's turning out to be a real pain. So so there you are. Them are the normal brake shoes. They're not oil immersed brake shoes. They're just normal drum brakes. I think that's the newer model, the one of my own. And this one is the one that was on fire, and they're smaller drum brakes. So I cleaned them up with brake cleaner, and I'm going to put them on and see if that will work now. Well, here you are. This is the assembly put back together, the brake assembly. This is the foot brake assembly. So as you know, this was leaking, and I've basically had to take it all out and clean it all up, and there's a little plunger that's in there. You take this nut out of the top, and then you can move the plunger this side and that side and change the little seals on there. So this is just another thing. You know, I've got this Firmex digger. I wouldn't attempt to do anything like this unless I had some kind of mechanical hydraulic help or winch or something, because it's almost impossible to do. This digger arm now will reach over to the far end here to help me lift these things up, because they're just plain too heavy for one man to handle. Everything is a big heavy weight. So this thing there, I can move it on the floor, but we have a job to lift it up. So what I use is a back actor with a couple of straps and dangle it where I need to be, and like I said, I'm doing this on my own, remember, so I wouldn't attempt this unless you got some kind of mechanical help, because the parts are just plainly too heavy. So, okay. I'll put all these bolts in here and torque them up properly, and remember, this is a dry fit here, so because there's seals and everything there, you don't need anything there. That is going to be always dry, but this one here is going to need some sealant putting in there, because this will have oil in this bit, in this axle, and I've got some of the stuff I use here, bond lock. So you basically put that round everywhere there. So the next thing is now, like I said, I'm going to put these bolts all in, both sides, torque them all up, and check the diff lock and everything is working. And then we'll put the bell housings on. I'll take the bell housings off that pallet there and check them all over that they're okay, and put them on here. Right, I'm just going to talk quickly about job fatigue, really, when you're doing something. I had it before when I was doing the van, but not as bad as this. You do get to a position sometimes when you're taking on a big job like this where you're completely and utterly overwhelmed with it all, and you're almost afraid to proceed or go back or leave it or carry on. You get to a point like that. I've had it in a few jobs, and especially on this one. This last week, 2 weeks probably, when I've had some missing parts and things, and I've had to wait till I get the parts, and I come in here and try to free up these clutch arms that they weren't free because that had a bit of heat on it due to the fire. I was spending days in here freeing things up and not moving it on at all. Just taking things apart, not taking you all day just to maybe free up something like that. Now, I've got through it a bit now because I'm starting to put stuff back on, but this has been hard going to get to this part. Now, what you've got to get into your head is, instead of thinking of the whole thing, it just gets you down when you think of putting the whole thing. Think of the next bit, like the next bit is that. That is what we're going to deal with. We're going to put that on there, and I'm going to hopefully try and get that one on today. So we'll get that whole side done today. Now, if this goes quicker than I think, and we can get the two done today, that's a lot better. We are progressing forward, but don't put yourself in a position where you're expecting to get too much done in one day and you're just falling behind all the time, because you'll just get you pissed off and you'll jack it all in. So give yourself little tasks and just try and keep yourself so you're on top of the job then. But I openly admit, for about 2 weeks now, I had a point where I was almost scared to carry on. I don't know how to explain it really. You're in, you're overwhelmed by everything looking at you, and overwhelmed with how much to put on there. You don't know where to start. You come in here and you just stand and you think, where the hell do I start? And you've just got to get one bit on, one bit on, one bit on, and move on from that. And then eventually you get to a point where you just get over that hill and you can progress all right. So we're starting this today. It's starting to cheer me up a bit today because we're getting a bit back on there. So hopefully within the next week I can get most of this, the bigger parts, put on here, and we can progress to the clutch end of things. So I just wanted to say that because we all get it, especially me, and it's a hard thing to get through unless you get it in your head right. Right then, this is the outer part of the trumpet housing. I said before this is a planetary gear. I think they say as the sun gear goes in the middle and the planets go around the outside of it, if you see what I mean. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to clean this face off now, because this one has to be sealed, because this is holding oil in. And we're going to replace that onto this side. Yeah, that is the plan. We're just going to go methodically and progress. Right, tubers, we have put the gearbox top on with sealant. All the gears are working fine. I think that's the PTO selector. We just put that on. It's going to be a job to test these. That cockerel is pissing me off again, by the way. That's a four-wheel drive unit there, but we'll leave that off for now. We've got another unit this side to put on, down there. I think that's a hydraulic pump, I can't remember off the top of my head. So we're slowly working our way working our way forward to deal with the clutch. So, don't know, did I tell you before, I've had a job to unseize these, because these had a bit of fire on them, and these were totally seized up. I've unseized that one, but this one is still catching a bit, so I need to do a bit of work on him yet. But we'll try and get everything regarding the gearbox done here now today if I can.